This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning, Rabbi. Welcome everyone to the Trei Asar, the Navi Hoshea, Parak Daled, Pasuk Daled. Rabbi said today it's the day of fours. You'll see tomorrow will be the day of fives. Okay, but I can't reveal more. Parak Daled, Pasuk Daled. Ach, but Ish al Yarev, let no man contend. V'al yoichach ish, let no man rebuke. V'yamecha, and your people, kimerive kohen, like the contentious kohanim. So, there's only one question on this pasuk. What does it mean? That's all. So, the Rashi says like this: Ach ish al yarev, atem masrin b'nevi'ei emos. You warn the true prophets. Shelo yirivun etchem. Do not rebuke us. Do not contend with us. V'lo yochichu eschem. Not to rebuke you, right? Like they tell the rabbi. You know, just do. You could tell stories, but don't talk about kashrus, and don't talk about sneos, and don't talk about Shabbos, and don't talk about Taras HaMishpacha. So what should you talk about? What should you talk about? Judaism. Speaking of Judaism. But don't talk about, all those things. But so you tell the Nevi'ei Emes, don't rebuke us, like it says in the Navi Amos, Sha'amar loy Amatzia kohen Beisel, that they said, that Amatzia, the kohen of Beisel, said, Al loy tenavi al Beis Yisrael, do not prophesy on Klal Yisrael, like Tatif al Beis Yitzchak, Vubi me Yeravam and Yayesh. Those were in the days of Yeravam and Yayesh, and Esnave Hoshea b'yamav, that Hoshea prophesied in his times, and they told the prophets not to rebuke us. Va'amcha k'mrivei kohen, and your nation is like the contentious kohanim. Meaning, we'll see how Rashi learns this. Va'amech k'mrivei kohen, not son im malafeihain. You strive with your teachers. Shakayhanim hayu b'nei hayra. The Kohanim were the teachers. Kumashanemar yoru mishpatach Yaakov. So Rashi learns v'amcha, and your people kimerive kohen, argue with the Kohanim. They argue with their rabbeim. Rashi says, the Targum says v'amach notsan im malfeihain. Your people contend with your teachers. Rashi, the Metzudas David has a very interesting interpretation. Metzudas David says, Ach means be'emes in truth. Soim ish, shum ish, al yoravim chaveroi. He learns, let no man contend with his friend, v'lo yochichen, or rebuke him. Why? Why can't I rebuke my friend? Because you can only rebuke someone if you yourself are clean from the same sin. You can't rebuke someone. Pal, stop talking my down. This guy doesn't stop himself. How could you rebuke your friend? Then it means like this: V'amacha, and your people kimerive kohen. Your people are like those who argued with the Kohanim. Who argued with the Kohanim famously in Chumash? Kairach. So you guys are like the Bnei, are like Kairach. Maimer hamakom el hanavi. The Rebbe Shalom is speaking to the Navi. Hine Bnei Amcha, the people of your nation, Hema ka'adas Kairach, are like the congregation of Kairach. Shahayu merivim im Aaron HaKoyin, who fought with Aaron. Va'amar k'maichichim, and Kairach said as if to rebuke Aaron, Madua tisnaso al kahal Hashem. Behema asu hara, but they themselves are the ones who did what's evil. So the question is, according to the Metzudas David, we understand the kaf here. The Amecha, and your people, kimerive kohen, are like those who argue with the Kohanim. But according to Rashi, the Amecha, and your people, kimerive kohen, your people argue with the Kohanim. What's the kimerive kohen? You should say the Amecha, and your people. Merive kohen, argue with the Kohanim. What's ki? It's not really the kaf hadimyon over here. You know, a guy, his name, he said his wife, his name was Rezi. It's a ki Rezi, you know. You have to know when to put in the ki. So, that's an old joke. Okay, so, it's ki old. Okay, so the Radak says something very interesting. That the ki over here is not the kaf hadimyon. What do I mean it's not the kaf hadimyon? The Radak says that the amcha kimarive kayin. First, the Radak says ach ze ino lamayit. The ach here is not a mir. Normally, ach is mamayit. It says ach ish al yorev. Ach is not made avahu la'ames hadavar. It's to authenticate. Kamay ach atzmi uvesari ata. Ach l'sheker shamarti. Ach toiv elohikim liYisrael. Omar ish al yorev al yorecha chaver al rishoy. In other words, ach is a way of affirming something. Ve'amcha kimerive kayin, says the Radak. Kaf kimerive le'ames hadavar. The kaf over here, kimerive kayin, he learns like Rashi. Your people fight with the Kohanim. What does it mean, kimerive kayin? It's to authenticate. Kaf, kamay, kaf. What does Yaakov tell Esav? Hishavali kayom. What do you mean, as of this day? Hishavali hayom. What's kayom? You ever wonder about that? You only read about 5,000 times. What does it mean? Hishavali kayom. It should say Hishavali hayom hazeh. What's kayom? Kayom is a way of affirming. Kimasige gvul v'hadoim lehem amar hakoyin hoyoloi laharos u'laharev l'chiach ha'am. In truth, the Kohanim should have been instructing and rebuking and educating. K'maisha amar yoru mishpatach leYaakov ubasa el hakoyin uvizman hazeh ha'am merivim es hakoyin. And in this time, the people fight with the kohen. Kiloi dai, it's not enough shlo yekablu teichachtai. Not only do they not accept the rebuke of the kohen, elahim merivim u'meichichem oisai, but they strive with him and they rebuke him. Al derech sha'amru dar sheshoifet shoiftav, like it says in the beginning of Sefer Rus. Vayhi bimei shefait hashoifetim. Chazal say they judged their judges. Oy perush, another pshat is ki hakohen ra kemoyhem. When it says amcha kemarive kohen, it's saying their teachers were bad like them. Okay, next pasuk. Nidmu ami, my nation is silent, mebli hadoas, without knowledge. Ki ata, because you, hadaas ma'asta, you despised knowledge. Oh, 5. Good point. Very good. You guys are on the ball today. V'chashalta hayom, and you stumbled today. V'chashalta hayom, and you stumbled today, or you will stumble today. You see, kashalta is lashon avar, and the vav changes it to lashon ased. So v'chashalta hayom, you shall stumble today. V'chashal gam navi imcha loyla, and the prophet with you will stumble at night. V'damisi imecha, and your mother will be silenced. You shall stumble today. The Navi will stumble with you in the evening, and your mother will be silenced. Let's see Mitzudas David. B'chashalta hayom. Lachein tikashal ba'ar hayom. You will stumble even during the daylight. The gam hanavi hashakar, and even the false prophet hamiyuad lecha toiva, who promises you good, yikashu gamhu imcha, will stumble with you like someone who stumbles in the night. V'yachriso kol haknesia shalcha, I will cut off your entire assembly. So what does it mean, and your mother will be silenced? Let's see Rashi. V'chashalta hayom v'gomer v'tiskelun b'yamama. You will stumble during the day, Rashi says. V'yiskelun neviye shikra de'imchayin kidbel elya. And the false prophets that are with you will stumble as if it's during the night. V'avohis kinash sechayin V'avayish knesia shalachem. Right, the Targum translates V'aveis knishtechain. I will be mevayis your gatherings. V'damisi imecha, and I will silence your mother. Rashi says, "K'may nidmu ami," like the pasuk in the next pasuk. My nation will be silenced. Ka'adam hayoshev, the taya, like someone who sits in bewilderment. Ve'ein ma'ane bepiv, without any response. Now, what does it mean your mother will be silenced? The Mefarshim and the Radak spells this out explicitly. Means your national entity, your gathering will be silenced.
Why is it compared to mother?
And the Radak says, Hakinasa or Hakinisa tikra im. A gathering is called a mother.
Do you see that anywhere else?
Let's see if the Malbim explains this further. Damisi imecha, im kein ani doimelecha, ani imecha, ani ha'uma v'hachnesia she'ani eim shalcha. The way the Malbim explains it, that individual people are called b'nei ha'uma, and therefore the Ummah itself is called the mother. Because since those individuals that comprise the nation are the b'nei ha'uma, the nation itself, the entity itself, is called the aim. Next pasuk. Nidmu ami, my nation is silenced, mibli hadas, without knowledge. Ki ata hadas ma'asta, because you despised knowledge. V'em ascha, and therefore I despised you, mikahen li, from serving me. Vatishkach Torahs Elokecha, you forgot the Torah of your God. Therefore, eshkach banecha gamoni, I too will forget your children. So my nation was silenced without knowledge, because you despised knowledge. Therefore, I despise you from serving me. You forgot the Torah of your God. Therefore, I will forget your children. Rashi says, Eshkach banecha, she'oisan she'amdu al har Sinai. Rashi quotes the Medrash that when Hashem gave the Torah to Klal Yisrael on Har Sinai, Hashem said to Klal Yisrael, I'm giving it to you, but I need a guarantor, I need an Arev. So Bnei Yisrael said, our children will be our co-signers. They will be the Arevim that we will keep the Torah. So Rashi says, she'oisan she'amdu al har Sinai, those who stood on Har Sinai, nasnu b'neiam Arevim tachas avoseim lishmaras haTorah. Therefore, God says, you did not keep the Torah, and therefore the co-signer is now guilty, and therefore your children will be punished. Let's see the Mitzudas David. Nidmu ami.
One thing that the children should be a raven, a guarantor, but why should they be punished?
Well, if the guarantor doesn't come through,
Yeah, you got to pay up, you know.
well, they can pay up. The way to pay up is,
Punished?
yeah, because if somebody sins, there's no payment. It's not monetary payment. Rashi, the Mitzudas David says like this: Nidmu ami, hine ami nichrasu. My nation will be cut off al kilo yaduaisi, because they don't know me. Ki ata, because you despised knowledge. The Mitzudas David says al hakoyin lelamed. The job of the kohen is to teach, like it says, ki sifsei kohen yishmeru das, the Torah yavakshim piu, the lips of the kohen preserve knowledge. So we see from here the role of the kohen is the educator. V'lachin Amar, v'hovi ata kohen ma'asta sadas. Hashem says to the kohen, because you Kohanim, all you're interested in is eating meat in the Beis Hamikdash. You know, you love it when people bring that carbon shlamim, and even the carbon chatas. We'll see. It's almost like you wish people sin so that you have more meat to eat, right? But that's not the main function. That's just sort of a reward for your teaching. But the main job of the kohen is instruction. You didn't teach the people.
No, aren't Levium supposed to be the teachers?
No, the Kayin.
No?
Lachein, gamani emas oischa mulakahin li. Therefore, I despise you as well. Vatishkach, says in Mitzudas, al sheshachachta es ha-Torah. Because you forgot Torah, eshkach gamani es manecha. I will forget your children. V'lo ya'oshia lahem. So Hashem saying, since the Kohen did not fulfill their primary task, therefore the Rebbe Hashem punishes the children. According to him, says David, it's going on the children of the Kohanim. According to Rashi, it's going on the children of Klal Yisrael. Kerubam, as yeah. Of course. Yeah. Of course. There's an extra aleph. Radak even says, Ksiv ba'alef yisera. There's an extra aleph, bein ha'samach v'kaf. V'la yadanu anyana, lo menechtav Hashem. We don't know why. So it's definitely teaching something. So you're mechavin to the Radak's question. We don't know what. But something. So there's an interesting Mincha Shai says, if you look at the word v'em ascha, yeah, how many aleph are in that word? Right? So there are 3 alephs. Now that there's an extra aleph, there are 3 alephs. So by the way, the Mincha Shai is the final word on the way words are spelled, or the nekudos of them, or how to pronounce them. So he says, Uksiv ba'alef yisera. There's an extra aleph bein hasamach v'hakaf, between the samach and the kaf. V'ayin b'seifel harkava shel Rabbi Eliyahu ois vav. Look in the sefer harkava, and then the Mincha Shai quotes the medrash. V'shmois Rabbah perak lamed ches Amar Rav Yehuda kol koyin shu oichal b'truma, any koyin who eats truma ve'eno ben Torah, but is not a ben Torah. Einoi kayin la'asalavai. He will not be a kayin la'asalavai. Ela nimas mishloisha dvaram. He will be despised from 3 things. Shenemar ve'em ascha mikahin li. Shekain gimel alafim yeshua. There are 3 alephs. So what will he lose? Mina kahuna. He'll lose being a kayin. Umina mikdash. He'll lose going to Beis HaMikdash. So you say, okay, he won't be a Kohen, but at least he'll be a Levi. No, he'll even lose the Leviah.
Did you become a Yisrael? Was he going to be sad at least?
Become a Yisrael? I mean, I don't know if we'll let him be Yisrael. Yeah, I mean, he is a Yisrael. He's a Jew. He's not going to lose being Jewish, but he'll lose 3 things. So that, according to him...
Kids won't be Kohanim either then?
I guess not. Okay. Weiter. Pasuk Zayin. Kirubam kain chatuli kavaydam bekalayin amir. Kirubam. What does kirubam mean? As they multiply, as they have increased, so they have sinned to me. Their honor I will exchange with shame. Look at the Mitzudas David. Kirubam. Kefi ma sha'ani moisef legadlam. The more I magnify them, kain moisifin heim lachtali. The more they sin to me. Lachein achalef kvoidam, meaning the more greatness I give them, the more arrogant they get, and the more they sin. Lachein achalef kvoidam, I will exchange their glory, b'kala and washem ratzaymer, b'tmuras hakavod etem lahem kalain. In exchange for their honor, I will give them shame. Says Rashi, kerubam kain chatu, Kisharabu v'gadlu, as they become greater and they become and they magnify, kain hoisifu lachtai, so they increase their sin. Meaning, the more numerous they become and the greater they become, they sin more. Kain chatu lashon ivrim. Ivris kain mekam mekamis kasher yanu oisai kain yirbeh. This is a common refrain. As they become the more they afflict them, the more they increase. I mean, kivis, kain that, right? Kasher, kivis, kain. Here too, kir, kain. The kir, kain is a common procedure in Tanakh. Kain Yira, Kar Lahem, Kain Holchum Ipneim. Kol Kamish and Avim, Karim Lahem, Laichicham, Kain Heim Hayu Barchim Ipneim. Kerubam Kain Chatul, Fikach Kavaidim Mekalan Amer. There's another pshat. Like this. Kerubam, as their great ones go, Kain Chatulu li, so they sin to me. The Medrash says that the sins start from the top. It's because the leaders sin, so it also ultimately filters down to the people. Kerubam, as their great ones are, Kain Chatuli, so too they sin to me. Pasuk Ches. Chatas ami yochelu. The sin, meaning the sin offerings of my people they eat, v'yalavainam, and to their sins, yesu nafshai, their soul yearns. What does this mean? Let's start with Metzudas David. Chatas ami yochelu, ratzaloymar, einam oichsim bedin kuhuna. They don't grab a hold of the regular procedure of kahuna, lalamed esa'am, to teach the people. V'rak oichsim b'kahuna, the only reason they're grabbing all the kahuna, lecha basar. They like meat, they like barbecues, you know? It's cheaper to get free meat in the temple than to go out to Al Ha'esh, you know, where you have to pay gratuities and you have to pay, they charge $2 for a Coke. You might as well get free meat in the temple and, you know, with free drinks. All you could eat all day.
But they only did it for the Maimon, right? They only get the meat from the Karbonis when they did the avoda. They only did the avoda once every...
twice a year?
Twice a year.
For a week?
Yeah, and then they had to work. It's not like they didn't have to be there. They had to do the avoda.
It's like the children of Eli, right?
They were permanently there?
Well, no, didn't they take the fork, whatever it is, and take the best meats out and all.
Maybe they
were
used their
very
position to get the fruit.
So you're saying, what do you mean? So you're saying, how much could they have been, you know, looking forward to the Karban Chatas? It's not like they were there the whole year. Apparently, even the short amount of time that they were there, in other words, the Kohen saw himself primarily as one who had extra opportunities to eat meat instead of somebody who taught the Torah to the people and happened to have a side benefit of eating a little extra basar.
Every generation or just...
In this time of Hoshea. So, look how the Metzudos translates the Alavoinim Yisu Nafshay. They look forward to people sinning. You know,
I made more meat for
them. When they saw sin, ding, 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 all right, go, attaboy. Attaboy. Chalk it up as a... Yeah. You know, the Kohanim were excited about the Karban Chatas.
All Kohanim like that? I think it's very aliyah, very few Kohanim.
The Kohanim that the Navi are talking about were like that.
So the Kohen Gadol was so...
But they were bad.
I can imagine if he was the chief Kohen and he bought it, you can imagine what he did in appointing his... lower people, overpaid, got the position. It's much like the politics of today.
Look at this.
Didn't change.
Look at this Rashi. Chatas ami. Kol chatas shebesefer treyasar pisachin. Every time it says chatas in treyasar, it's two patachs in a row. Lefisha kulan devukin. They are all davak. The word davak means chatas ami, the sin of. Chatas means sin. Chatas means the sin of. It's davak. The only exception is in the Navi Micha in Parak Aleph. Chutz me'achas reishis chatasi lebasiyoin chatoiseh shal ami yochelu. Oisam nevi'eh hasheker she'amar lahem lamala. So this pasuk of Chatas Ami goes back to the Nevi'ei Sheker that we spoke about above, that V'kasha Gam Navi Imcha, that the prophet will stumble with you. Nasu Lahem Kohane Bamos. They were the priests on the high places. Va'oichlin Mashay Kohanim Ruyin Le'achal. They ate what the Kohanim were supposed to eat. Somehow the Nevi'ei HaSheker usurped the role of the Kohanim, and they were the ones consuming the flesh that the Kohanim should have. To the sins of the Yisraelim, the Navi would yearn for the Jew to sin so that they could consume the meat. So apparently Rashi is learning that the false prophets usurped the role of the Navi, of the Kohen. Thank you. V'haya cha'am ka'kohen. And it will be, the nation will be like the Kohen. Ufakadati alav derachav, and I will visit upon him his ways, uma'alalav, and his actions, ashav loy, I will return to him. Rashi, the Metzudas David says, v'haya, lachein yeh ka'am ka'kohen. The nation will be like the Kohen, shneim yishvu b'paranos. They will both be equated in punishment. Why? Because not only did the people sin, the Kohanim sinned as well. The Gama Kohanim ishchisu. And therefore, I will visit on each one his particular masim. So Rashi learns it differently. V'haya ka'am ka'kohen. Rashi learns, Ani ashve es ha'am, I will, the generation will be like the Kohen. Ani ashve es ha'am lebizoyin kohane, shechilu oisam mechayin lahem. I will disgrace the people for embarrassing the Kohanim, who the people did not allow the Kohen to serve them. I will defile the nation with Avodah Zarah. So let's look at the Targum. Rashi is quoting the Targum. Targum translates the pasuk very innovatively. The Targum says, "V'hei kema da'ashave chiloina'a kechahana la'afasa kodsheyayin afas yas yikarehoin va'ashave diyakir levaser bedil ispra min hoin ki archas hoin bishta uchayvadein mekalkalaya asav lahoin." So Radak obviously has a very interesting shot here. Let's see if somebody will explain. The Targum has a very interesting shot here. According to the Targum, because we despise the Kohanim and we defile them, God will defile us.
Well, wait a minute, didn't we just say before that the Kohanim were the ones that were kind of abusing their role? They wanted the Israel to sin.
Yeah, but that, in Rashi's pshat, it's going on the
people.
Okay, v'achlu, they will eat, v'lo yizbao, they will not be satiated. Hiznu, they will be promiscuous, v'lo yifroitzu, they will not multiply. Ki es Hashem azvu, because God they forsook, lishmar, of observing the laws of Hashem. Says Metzudas David, v'lo yisbao, they will eat and they won't be satisfied. Ki tavei hame'era b'me'ayim, a curse will come in their intestines. Hiznu. So what does it mean they will be promiscuous and they won't multiply? If they're being promiscuous, they're not trying to multiply. You know, if they're having illicit relations, they'll try to make sure they don't multiply. But the Metzudas David says, Hiznu l'chol be'ilasam karez nos. Their relations are called znos, hal v'hema b'machshava ra, because it's with evil thoughts. Loy l'kayim mitzvahs Hashem. They're not having relations to fulfill the mitzvahs of Hashem. And therefore, they will not have many children. V'lo yifroitzu lo yisrabu b'banim u'b'banais. The Malbim says like this: V'achlu v'lo yizbao. Tachas shebe'ishayu ha-kohanim tzadikim. In the good old days, when the kohanim were tzadikim, haya ba bracha b'me'eyam. The blessing would come in their intestines. Uvemad shahiyu oichlem, and with the little that they eat, me'ishay Hashem, from the fire offering Hashem, hayu sveim, they were satisfied. Like Chazal say, oichlem kima u'mizbarech b'meyav. Now that they sinned, they'll eat and they won't be satisfied, right? There's, in Parshas Bahar coming up, there's a famous question. It says, in the Chumash, it says by the mitzvah of Shemitah, listen very carefully. It says, by the mitzvah of Shemitah, it says, he's gonna get for you. Just B'chi Saimru, he's gonna bring you, okay? B'chi Saimru, and if you're gonna say, Ma noicha b'shana hashviyas, what are you gonna eat during the 7th year? What are we gonna eat? Hein loy nizra, v'loy nesef, esvasenu, we didn't plant, we didn't gather. V'tzivisias b'chasi lachem b'shana hashishas. Hashem says, I will command the blessing in the 6th year. The asas es hatvua l'shloish hashanim, will produce grain for 3 years. You hear the pasuk? It says, V'chi saimru, and if you're going to say, what are we going to eat? Hashem says, don't worry, I'm going to command blessing for 3 years. So I have a question. And what about somebody who's a Baal Bitachon, who doesn't question, what am I going to eat? How am I going to keep Shemitah? I didn't plant, I didn't harvest. Only someone who has no trust in God and asks the question,
what? You'll get 7 years. The other one gets only 3.
7 years in 1 year?
Yeah, until the next Shemitah. You got to be tough on.
No, but that doesn't say that. Right? It says, and if you're going to say, well, only then you get the bracha, and let's say you have trust and you don't get the bracha. So the Sfarno says, yeah, if you don't ask Hashem, you get a much better bracha. The bracha is, instead of increasing the quantity, you'll oichal kima umizbarech v'meyav. You'll eat less, but you'll be satiated. But, which is always better, but now that you're questioning, what am I going to eat? So then you're going to have a lesser bracha. The lesser bracha is that you'll have to have more food, and more food. Well, you'll be satiated, but you're going to need to eat more to be satiated. So the more you consume,
you have to work more also, because it'll be more to harvest.
Yeah, and right, you're going to have to store it. You're going to have to work it, as opposed to having less. So you get all the benefits of dealing with less and it being nisbarech b'meyav. Okay, Rabbi say, we'll hold it over here. Shkayach.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.